that away, I think. It's probably appropriate. Not want to be doing the closer.
Okay. So yeah, if you want, you already put for English.
Okay.
So just keep like
Keep
close
it there
to you,
in case I
if
need
there's
it.
something on the picture.
Easy.
Okay. So, good afternoon. Welcome to the pre-match press conference, Team New Zealand. I have the pleasure to have here with us Coach Tom Sermani and the player and captain, Ailey Riley. Before your questions, I will ask you, please raise your hand, use the microphone, and announce the language that you're going to use, and please introduce yourself. Shall we start?
Okay. No questions. That's good.
Okay.
Oh,
No, we have one there.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Willem Vissers. I'm from Holland, from the Volkskrant. I have a question for the head coach, or maybe also for the player. 4 years ago, it was the same match in the beginning, Holland against New Zealand, the first match. Can you tell us a little bit about developments of New Zealand women football since that moment?
That one's probably better answered by Ali. I've only been with the team for the last 6 months. I was actually with another team in the same group 4 years ago. So Ali would probably have some better insights than myself.
I think, well, one of the major developments for us has been getting Tom as our head coach. Obviously, we were really disappointed 4 years ago not to get a win, not to get out of the group. It was definitely a challenging group, but since then, it hasn't been easy. We, as I'm sure you know, have had problems with our previous coach and the federation, but within the last year, I think we've seen the biggest growth and the most positivity in this team and our culture than we've had in terms of the growth in a short period of time since I joined the team about 12 years ago. So I think in terms of our belief in the team, in terms of what we have as the group dynamic and a coach with experience who is able to push us but also embrace how important our culture is, I think we're at a very, very different place than we were 4 years ago. Obviously, it's a challenging group again, but I think we are the most prepared than ever before to be able to display our talents and our strengths on the field at a World Cup.
Before the next question, I must say that the time for the photographers is over. Sorry.
I was just about to smile.
No, you can keep this smile. So if someone else wants to do a question?
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, my question is for the head coach. You were the head coach of many teams. How would you place this team of New Zealand?
I think probably the first word that comes to mind is the actual word team. New Zealand is very much a collective group of players. I've been fortunate to have managed several teams, and some of those teams had particular players that were game breakers for those teams. I think for New Zealand it's very much a collective effort. It's a fantastic group of players, a real core of experienced players who have played a lot together, had a lot of caps, played in major tournaments, and are very much united as a group. So that dynamic has probably been the difference between some of the other teams that I've coached and the New Zealand team. Apart from Ali, who's a star.
Ali, the football ferns played the Dutch 4 years ago at the World Cup as well. What are your recollections of that match and what's changed in the last 4 years?
Yeah, it's not something that I've really wanted to think about too often since then. It was a good game. I thought it was a really competitive game, but obviously you have some really great players on that team and difference makers like Liga Martins, and I think that's kind of the difference between then and now on on all teams, and that's kind of an indication of where the women's game has grown, that there are even more players who can make that difference. There are even more players playing in professional environments around the world, and that's true for both the Netherlands and for us. So I think you'll see, and as we've already seen in this tournament, more and more impressive attacking play and combinations and players with confidence, players who are used to playing at a high level week in and week out. And I think that's very true for both of the teams playing tomorrow. But I think, obviously, the Netherlands still has some great players who are able to, especially in the attack, make that difference. And I think that's going to be the challenge for us, is to nullify those threats, but also show that we have threats of our own.
Hi, Liam from SNTV. A question in English to Ali. Obviously, New Zealand have featured in several previous World Cups, but have yet to win a game. So what's the main objective this time around? Is it to take it one step at a time, or are you looking further ahead, and how do you assess those challenges which lie ahead?
I think our goal is definitely to win a game. It's also to get out of the group, which, we'll have to win a game to do that. And I think we're taking it game by game. So our goal is to win tomorrow. And then I think we'll be able to assess the situation from there. But I think having been to 3 other World Cups and not achieve that goal, before it was very exciting to qualify and then to get a point. But right now, I think, especially with the preparation we've had, especially with a coach like Tom, and basically the resources we've been given in this past year in terms of building from what we went through, I think we are in a very, very good place to achieve that goal. So I think this is a tournament where afterwards we'll be able to look back and say that we definitely showed what we are capable of. And we know we're not the best team in the world going into this tournament, but I think it's a realistic goal for us, and I think we can do it in this group.
Sorry, I didn't introduce myself the last time, so Romain Lafont from L'Équipe. A question for you. You were talking about the problems you had with your previous head coach. Did some players were traumatized by this experience, or at the opposite, did it give you more strength to face the adversity then? I
think both. Obviously, when it first happened, and we went through a very, very dark period where players didn't know if we wanted to stay and what would happen. And I think, gosh, it sounds like I'm really sucking up to Tom here, but I think having him come in and seeing the federation find a candidate like Tom to take over, I think that changed what we were feeling in terms of a little bit of helplessness and hopelessness into, actually, we can do this. And we didn't have a lot of time, and our qualifiers were really late, and I think we are able to turn what happened to us into a positive in terms of being faced with potentially walking away from this team, from, this career, to feeling very, very grateful that we were able to fight and get to where we are today. And I also think it has brought the team together. It's improved our team culture. And in terms of building the game, not just on the field, but what we do off the pitch, which is something that a lot of players in my generation have taken on that responsibility. I feel very, very proud of what we've done over the last year. And I think to get that win and to get out of the group and to create history for New Zealand, that would, be the icing on the cake, and that would very much complete this big challenge and this fight that we've been going through.
I'd like to ask both you, Ali, and the head coach about the difference between the qualification process and coming to a senior World Cup. I'm Gary Bloom, the commentator for FIFA. Modest opposition, I think it's fair to that. Or how easy is that?
I'll let you take that one.
Okay. It's a bit of both, Gary, to be honest. I think, as you say, the qualifications are fairly straightforward and don't really give you the level of competition that you get when you come up against teams at a World Cup. I think what has happened, though, is we've been very fortunate. The Federation have done a terrific job in giving us a really good build-up to this World Cup. So we've been on the road for some time. We've had some really tough games. We've had some tough results, but we've also had some very good results. And I think the good results, the tough results have helped build our resilience. The good results, I think, have helped build our confidence. So also, as part of that, we've now got a lot of players, like most teams, who are playing professionally, sort of week in and week out. So that gives, obviously, that extra layer of confidence because they're playing against those players that we come up against internationally. So, as I say, if it was a case of getting through the qualifiers, 2 games and then you're here, then yeah, a huge leap. But I think the preparation we've had has been as good as we could have ever expected, and that's certainly helped build our confidence.
I think just to add on that, I think our qualifiers have been a little bit frustrating in the past because it doesn't necessarily, in some sense, it seems like an injury risk sometimes. But I think in this case, the timing of it, having Tom, he had just come in and we were able to have a balance between making sure we were doing the job and qualifying and respecting the opposition that we did have in that tournament, but also come together again collectively and have those 3.5 weeks to spend that time together. So in this case, I actually think those qualifiers were the most important thing at the most important time for this team.
And they do a good ice cream in New Caledonia as well.
It's true.
Do we have more questions? No? So thank you. Thank you, Riley and Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks very much. I'm just going to go see. See this.